So you have a itinerary and you love overlanding. You have plans to do it big on the trails and some super glamping. One ideas, tip, news and reviews, a podcast the first rate and here just for you. You don't have to think about it, join us and be about it. Something interesting we want to hear about it, come on let's talk about it. Welcome to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints Podcast.
Sponsored by Midland, communication for every adventure, the industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. Sponsored by My Medic. Sponsored by Tembo Tusk. Sponsored by Shower Pouch. Sponsored by DeMoss Collective, mission built and made for mobility. Sponsored by BrewTrek. Sponsored by Hard Impact Designs.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
What's up, CANDI?
Hey, how's it going, Phil?
I'm wore out from my long weekend at Overland Expo Mountain West. What about you?
Oh yeah, thoroughly. We saw all four seasons, I think, except for snow, but we did get some hail with the weather all weekend. It was just the weather was just craziness.
It was. I am glad to be back home. I drove practically straight home. I slept for a few hours and then just made my way home. I'm glad to be home.
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember when we were leaving Overland Expo? It started to rain and they were saying it was going to be some big storms. I wonder, is that part of Hurricane Idalia?
I don't think so. Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida. It hit as a Category 3, but I think the latest on it, it's
so why don't you hold on to that for a second, and let's just go right into the news.
During this segment, we'll cover various topics with a connection to overlanding in some way. It could be land use news regarding the national parks or the Bureau of Land Management. We'll keep you up to date on any auto industry news when it pertains to relevant and potential overlanding vehicles. There will be camping and outdoor industry news, as well as photography and video, fishing, hiking, and on and on. Now, here's the news.
All right, CANDI, tell us about the hurricane.
So I guess according to what's on the news right now, they made landfall in Florida near Teton Beach just before 8 a.m. with maximum sustained winds of 125 miles an hour. That's a lot. As you know, I'm originally from Florida, so I mean that's a pretty big deal, and that's gonna stretch all the way inland as well too with the winds and the tropical storms. So I'm actually glad to see that now it's been reduced to a Category 1. They said that it reached Category 4 briefly overnight, which I'm really glad that it didn't do that because the damage would be a lot more significant. So yeah, that's the latest on Idalia at the moment, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm glad that it went down to a Category 3. Also, when I went to bed last night, they were saying Category 4. And wow, that would have made a major difference in the damage, and the damage is pretty terrible from what I've read. There's severe flooding everywhere. The airports have canceled all flights. They've pretty much shut down. I just hope that a majority of the people were sensible enough to get out of the area because there was enough time given to let you know so you could evacuate.
From my understanding, there were 4 counties that were mandated for evacuation. So I hope that nobody stuck around in those places. So the storm surge in those areas were supposed to be somewhere between 12 and 16 feet predicted. And So I hope people listen. You can't do too much about it, as far as forcing people out of their homes, but I really hope that people listened and got out safely.
So there are two reasons why we're discussing the weather on an Overland podcast. Mm-hmm. One is if you're traveling America and you're in that region, you don't have to just be in Florida to be affected by it. One, there's the evacuees heading in the opposite direction to you. Secondly, these hurricanes, it just doesn't affect that area where you see that they show you on radars. It may not be a hurricane, but there'll be rains and other affected areas that have a weather change. So for our overlanders and travelers, you want to keep that in mind, that you might want to just stay out that complete region, let alone state.
Mm-hmm. I remember last year, whenever I was traveling back east, there was the big hurricane that hit Florida, and I was trying to find camping locations in Pennsylvania. Okay. And I would go into the office. I did not have any reservations made. I walked into the office and said, hey, what do you have? Do you have anything for tonight? And they say, well, we need to check because we've actually set aside some spaces for the evacuees of the hurricane. So those are definitely, things to keep in mind whenever you are traveling. Maybe make sure you make reservations somewhere, maybe have reservations somewhere in the event that there's going to be a storm. Otherwise, they will prioritize those evacuees and not necessarily have anything available at the time if you just roll in there. I got very lucky, I think.
Yes.
Because they found room for me.
So not California. Florida is such a slender state that even though the hurricane is on the Gulf side, if you look at radars and look at the news, it's heavily affected the west coast of Florida, which is the other side of the state. So it's practically no escaping the effects of this hurricane if you're in Florida right now. The National Park Service has also closed all of their national seashores, such as Cape Hatteras, Cape Lookout, and so on. So that's a good thing. Even though they're on the other side, you could be in serious trouble if you were on one of those lake shores.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I know that in 2018, I was in Hurricane Michael in Florida. Oh yeah. And I had reservations down south into Key West. And I had to be very strategic about how I maneuvered through the state because he kept coming in and out of the Gulf. He ended up hitting Pensacola really, really hard. So he didn't make landfall where I was. So again, I got lucky, but I was also paying very close attention.
Okay, so you guys be safe out there and best wishes to everyone in Florida. We're going to move on to the next one. I thought this was very interesting. A bat at Arches National Park tested positive for rabies.
No.
Yep. It was outside of Arches National Park's visitor center on August 18th. And I mentioned that it's the visitor center. So it was found in one of the most highly concentrated populations in the whole park that's where everybody stops.
Yes.
And now they're doing a survey of all of the bats to see if that's just a one-off with rabies or that the other ones don't have it either. Because, a rabies bite can be very serious. Fortunately, I've never had a bite, but I've known somebody who got rabies from a dog bite. And I don't know how medicine has changed since that time, but I remember they had to take these shots, and the shots were even painful.
Wow.
And if they don't get you like within 24 hours, there's like serious neurological damage that you can get from rabies. You don't come back from rabies if you do live.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big deal. So if you're headed to Arches, pay attention to them bats. Don't play with them because it may have rabies.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in Moab right now. This is the season for it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and keep an eye on your pets too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say any park visitor who had physical contact with this or any bat should seek medical attention for potential exposure as soon as possible. And they should also notify the National Park Service Office of Public Health of the encounter. And like you said, they even mentioned visitors with pets should make a point of checking on their pets, and if they have any idea that it came into it, you should you should take your pet to a veterinarian. Death Valley, it still remains closed. You probably know this better than me. You live very close to Death Valley. They're still closed due to the major flash flood, and now they were given dates about when they were going to get things together in the beginning, and now they're retracting on that and saying they don't know when a lot of these roads will be repaired and open.
Yeah, I was really upset because I was hoping that it would not impact the reopening of Scotty's Castle. We've been waiting for literally years.
Yes, I was going to mention this.
Yeah. And, it's not just Death Valley. The entire area down in the southern Nevada and California areas, such as the Mojave National Preserve, it's also closed until further notice because of the substantial damage. Yeah. On their website, it says all roads and facilities are closed until further notice in Mojave National Preserve. Yep. And that's of course, right next door. So it makes sense.
And that's a good thing. People say doing the Mojave is hard. It's not hard at all unless it's wet.
Yes.
At least in my opinion. I don't think it's hard unless it's wet.
Particularly that Soda Lake area. That's where it'll get you.
Oh, yeah. Your whole vehicle could sink in that.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Mormon Row and the Grand Tetons, right?
Yes.
I like to take a picture of that barn and have the Grand Teton Mountains behind it every year.
Yeah.
But there's other Mormon Row structures there.
Okay.
And the Mormon Row historic structures are being preserved finally by the Grand Teton National Park Service.
That's wonderful.
For the next year, they're going to be reinforcing the foundations and taking care of the buildings finally, because you've been there. They just kind of like left them alone and let them age, but they need work. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
One reason other that I'm mentioning that is if you want to have an opportunity to see them before the restoration starts, that means you need to go see now, because it'll never look the same.
Yes, that is true.
Now, right next door in Yellowstone County, which I drove right through to get home, they confirmed 3 cases of West Nile virus.
Oh, that's another nasty one.
So we got rabies in Utah, and we got West Nile virus from mosquitoes in Wyoming and Idaho. This is getting crazy. So people, wear long sleeve shirts, get your deed out, all of that if you decide to go. This shouldn't hamper you from going. You just need to be proactive and protect yourself from the mosquitoes. Whenever you see me, I have on pants and a shirt. People think I'm trying to dress up. No, I'm trying to protect from the sun and the bugs.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I wanted to tell you some information that I just received.
All right.
One of the thoughts that goes through the mind of an EV owner or electric vehicle owner has to do with the impact that the DC fast charging will have on the vehicle's high voltage battery in the long run. Well, research has just shown that there is not really a significant difference between DC or AC fast charging on these vehicles. And, because a lot of people are under the impression that over a time there's your battery will deteriorate. But according to the tests that have just recently come out, and if you're viewing the YouTube version of this, you'll be able to see some of this information. And I'll leave a link for where I got the information. But battery degradation is anywhere from 0% to 4.1%, and that's the same for AC or DC charging. So that goes against what the popular idea is that, yeah, the fast charging messes up your vehicle, but it doesn't.
Okay. Well, that's great to know.
You have an electric vehicle, right? Don't you have an electric pickup, I think? Or something?
I do not have an electric. However, I'm keeping my options open. I definitely think that electric is a great idea. I'm just waiting for the right vehicle to come along for me.
I sent you a picture of a pretty blue 24 Toyota. Did you receive that?
I sure did. I sure did.
So
it looks good. It's the 2024 Tacoma.
Yeah. Toyota teamed up with DC's newest superhero in their debut movie, Blue Beetle, which made its world premiere in theaters last week. And the action movie, it'll be featuring several generations of the Tacoma, including the 2024 Tacoma that I sent you a picture of.
Okay.
And that was designed by Calty Design Studio. So one thing that was, I thought that was a pretty cool vehicle that they sent a picture of to me. And I think it's cool that there's a movie out there. If you're a Toyota or specifically a Tacoma person, they're going to have all of these different generations of the vehicle, because part of the story starts with him, I think, as a child and all the way growing up. So, you know, the Toyotas are going to change with the times.
Oh, okay. Fun.
So
well, that'll be fun.
What did you think of the vehicle that I sent you a picture of? That's the one that's like going to go to the red carpets and all of that with the movie.
You know, I thought it was pretty good looking. I think they did a really good job. I do wonder, do we know what model it is? Is it the Trail Hunter? Is it the, I mean, do we have an idea of what it is specifically?
I'll tell you what they sent out. It says the 2024 Tacoma is the latest iteration of its 4x4 with an available iForce Max hybrid, 326 horsepower, 465 torque, 4x4. It doesn't give any nomenclature letting you know what specifically it is. Okay.
Yeah, no, the Tacoma. So I'm a Jeep girl at heart, and you know this, but once upon a time when the Tacoma was first released, I owned a 95.5. And it was a 5-speed. Yeah, it was a 5-speed manual. And it was a good truck. I really liked it. So I think the 2024 Tacoma is pretty good looking. And because if you recall, I was at the reveal at Overland Expo West, and I'm pretty excited to see where this new model year goes. Because like I said, I used to have one in the past. I have no objection to having another one. And in particular, the new Trail Hunter is their new top of the line. You know, it's got old man emu shocks on it, 2.5-inch lifts, and steel bumpers, the whole bit. So for me, I look at that and I think, all right, I could get that into some trouble. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing it more out there.
I'm curious, like you, I have nothing but positive things to say. I think Toyota has done a decent job of overhauling their whole truck segment with the and to include, you know, their Lexus models too.
Yes. I do remember seeing at Lexus they had some really cool stuff out there whenever we were in Colorado just this weekend. I thought they had some really good looking stuff too.
I sent you a video.
Oh, yes.
Did you watch it yet?
Is it the, let me see here. Hold on a second. Is it the Gigafactory in Texas?
Yes, and the Tesla Cybertruck driving around it. Okay,
yes. The Cybertruck, the new Cybertruck. This is very interesting.
We will leave a link in the chapters for our audio listeners, and I'll leave a link in the description in the YouTube version for people if they want to look at this video. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's at like they're building the Gigafactory, so it's on that site, and it's driving around, and it's the first time that I've seen the vehicle not on concrete. So that's what was interesting to me. How did it look driving around, on dirt, on gravel to you? It was driving slow too.
Yeah, it was driving slow, and it's from such a high vantage point, it's difficult to see how the suspension really articulates and things like that, because you're not at that level. You're way high above. The vehicle itself looks very, very interesting. I like that. It kind of reminds me of a new space age El Camino.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I agree with that.
Yeah, which I dig. I think it's kind of cool. I really like the El Camino. I thought it was pretty cool.
The Camino has always been cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But so this has got a lot of features such as the bed in the back. It's got a tonneau cover that comes with the vehicle. But something that's really, really interesting too, whenever you go on their website and you actually look at some of the photos that they've got, they actually have a camping overlanding setup. So the little bed top pops up, and then you have it looks, I'm not sure what it's made of, but it appears to be a canvas or a cloth type of material that they're using. It doesn't appear to be hard-sided from my viewpoint, but I like that they're thinking of the overlander. I like that they're thinking of, people going out and actually using it and are encouraging people to do that with build out options like that. So it's kind of got a little rear pop top on it, which I thought was kind of groovy.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll put a link above us, or I'm sorry, I'll put a link down below. We did a podcast over a year ago where I have actual footage of the camper and the vehicle, and we did a whole breakdown on it. And at the time we were having a podcast about all of the stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff in the works for this vehicle. And that was one of my worries, is the aftermarket, but that doesn't seem like that's going to be an issue at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the suspension on this, actually you end up, according to the website, you end up having adjustable suspension on this, 4 inches high or low, and it's self-leveling. So now we don't have to, roll up on rocks anymore to level off or carry, leveling blocks with us. I don't have room for anything like that. I just use rocks or wood that's around. But now we don't have to do that anymore with this, really neat feature. I thought that, it also has onboard power and an air compressor.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yep. And all of that, like I said, all of that is information directly from the website.
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing that I noticed from the video was it drove past a pickup truck. I think it was a F-150.
Okay.
And it drove past a Jeep Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an idea of the size of the vehicle, and it's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yes.
And I've seen lots of pictures. I've even seen the stats, but it didn't hit me how big it was until I saw that video, because it was great from that view up top. And I even, stopped it so I could see. And it was just as big as the pickup. It was bigger than the Jeep. It was wider and taller. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a big vehicle.
Something more like in the full-size truck range is what it appears to be.
I agree.
It might do you think it'll give the big 5 a run for their money, or the big 3?
If they can figure out how to do something about, do you mean EV to EV?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because it's Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in Tesla, not because I think they're the world's greatest, but they've proven to be the best out the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
and they're the ones who set the pace. And, you know, I've been studying all of these electric vehicles, and a lot of them are literally have patents from Tesla on their vehicle.
Yeah, they do.
So I have faith in Tesla till they prove me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm of the same frame of mind. I do think that Tesla is leading the pack in this. So we'll see, you know, how this truck really comes out and performs. I know the stats are very impressive. All of the specs and things like that. So we'll see what the real world application looks like.
Well, that's the end of the news. Now we're going to go to our random list.
Random Lists is all about lists Waypoint Overland has created on an array of topics, such as top 5 national parks, top 10 trails in the United States, top 10 fill in the blank. I think you get it. Some lists will be pure fun, and others very informational. But they all will have a connection to overlanding in some way. We're very interested in hearing your suggestions for upcoming lists in the comments. Now, here's our random list.
All right, we're back. Now, we do random lists here every now and then, and that's the proper name for them. It's called random lists because these lists could be about anything. This particular one is the best places to see fall foliage. Now, Candy, don't just accept my list. If you've got something you want to throw in there, you make sure to speak up, okay?
All right.
I think your list will definitely fall in line with my list in some places because we've actually shared some of those places.
Yes.
Because we had the pleasure of following the fall foliage along the East Coast last year together, attending different events, which I thought was just totally awesome. You had been on a trip to Labrador?
Uh-huh.
And then you came in through Vermont, and I was coming from Quebec into Vermont. And then that's when we hooked up, and we basically went down the coast together.
Yes.
So the first place I have is the best places to see fall foliage is Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's number one in most people's lists. I don't think it has anybody that's even a close second to Vermont. I mean, Vermont is like a postcard all 4 seasons. And the fall foliage is just one of those seasons. It's pretty much orange and red and gold and maroon all over the state. You just drive through the state and just open your eyes. You don't have to go anywhere special, although there are some special places to go. Like I would say, you know, to go to maybe the Stowe area. I can't think of it. What's the something notch in Stowe? I should have had this written down. Smuggler's Notch.
Okay.
Which is in Stowe. And there's also Smuggler's Notch State Park. And there's just so much dense forest, and there's a natural mountain pass. So if you're up high, you can look down on the beautiful foliage. And if you're if you're down low, you can look above and see the mountains full of trees, full of those orange and reds and stuff. So Vermont is number one to me, and I recommend getting there like September to October. You still need to check the weather. It could be as late as November.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Vermont?
Vermont, I thought was very charming. It was my first time there last year. I found Vermont to be very charming, like you said, very postcard, Norman Rockwell. And of course, you know, autumn is my favorite time of year. So I had to stick around and see some of that. And what better place to experience the autumn, you know, colors than the New England area? I will say that another one of my favorite spots, though, to experience the fall foliage is going to be in Tennessee in Smoky Mountain National Park. It's fairly spectacular, too. So taking that drive from, you know, through the national park there is a fantastic fall foliage experience if you happen to catch it just right. Because you can hook up with the Blue Ridge Parkway too then, and continue on. You don't even have to stop. But yeah, Vermont was amazing. I actually went apple picking, and that's very classic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was very classic. So yeah, I enjoyed it very much. And the history for me is really amazing as well.
And number 2 on my list, I have the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
Okay, yes.
Which is contiguous to Vermont. But Vermont is totally different than New Hampshire, in my opinion.
Okay.
And fall foliage is different. I mean, because of the geography and the way the forests are, it's visually different. I know when I'm in New Hampshire and I know when I'm in Vermont, even though they're next door neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? The White Mountain National Forest or White Mountain National Park?
The forest.
Yeah. So if you've never been, it's huge.
Yes.
It's huge. It's just a beautiful drive. You could take the Caucamungus Highway. It goes right through the park. And I think it's beautiful. And when you get to the end of each end of the park, there's a town. There's a town of Conway on one side, and there's one at the beginning called Lincoln. So there's beautiful places to shop and eat. And then you can go into the park and just see beauty all day. So that's my big number 2. Now, I don't see this on anybody's list for fall foliage, but I have this on mine. The Berkshires in Massachusetts.
Okay.
You know, we always think the coast, but in Massachusetts, if you get away from the coast, the Berkshire area is it's beautiful all 4 seasons. But again, like I mentioned, other places, fall foliage is one of its highlights. And because of where it is, it's good for growing vegetation. So a lot of farmland mixed in with the forest, with the mountains. It's just beautiful. And like how we were talking about Vermont having the little idyllic postcard little towns, you have all of that in the Berkshires.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to one place and they'll have their homemade cheese. You go to another place and he's a butcher. You go to another place and they have flowers. Nice little restaurants, some of them European themed. So, and I never hear anybody talk about the Berkshires. That really just shocks me. There's, I think it's US Route 7 that starts like from Canada, that goes down through Vermont, through Massachusetts on down. If you're only going to take one road through the Berkshires, that's the one to take. That's famous. That's not like no secret. If you typed in the Berkshires, US Route 7 is probably going to immediately pop up as the road to take. That's the one. If you were to go on a YouTube channel and somebody's talking about it, they're on US Route 7. But you still take it because it's going to pass through the Barrington, Stockbridge, Lenox, Pittsfield, North Adams. These are all the towns in that Berkshire area, and they're all beautiful, all have their signature look, but they all have the backdrop of beautiful fall foliage. Oh, and this particular one, I say have room for picking up food, you know, because we're talking to overlanders. Don't be in a rush to go to a grocery store and pack your fridge when you're headed here, because there'll be places you're going to want to buy things. You're going to want to buy some of the meats. You're going to want to buy some of the vegetables and so on that are fresh. So have room.
Yeah, lots of farmers market type stuff.
That's what I was looking for to say. Yes, and good farmers market stuff. My next one is the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Another one I rarely hear people talk about, and you need to get there late. Don't get there any earlier than October. the temperature there. And pretty much if you're going to follow the fall foliage, it's later and later as you go down south. So
yes.
But are you familiar with the Eastern Shore of Maryland?
Yes, I've been there to see the horses. Been there to Assateague.
So you know how beautiful it is. But I don't hear too many people talk about it.
No.
And you don't have to leave your fridge empty, but make sure to have your stomach empty when you're there, because do not go to Maryland and not have some of their crabs. The Maryland crabs. Have you had Maryland crabs? They are just delicious.
Yeah, blue.
I'm addicted to Maryland crabs.
Yeah.
If you're in Northern Virginia or DC, have Maryland crabs.
I'm all about the seafood when I'm on the coast.
And when you're enjoying the fall foliage and you're an overlander, some of the places I recommend for you to go is to Delmarva Peninsula. Even though they call it a peninsula, it's actually an island. I don't know why they call it a peninsula. But you practically can have that place to yourself. And like you were mentioning Assateague, as long as you aren't there in the prime months of like June and July, you can find a good campsite right there on the water. If you do some research, they have a crossing of the wild horses every year.
Yes.
So I've never witnessed that. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I've only seen it on video, but someday I will be there for it.
So I'm mentioning some of these other things to let people know you're not just driving around to these places looking at leaves all day. And that should be enough, because I mean, it's beautiful, but there are other things to do in these areas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did stop at a very charming kind of a farmer's market store whenever I was coming from Assateague, and I was in Delaware at the time, and they had local honeys and all kinds of fresh, wonderful things. Oh, and they had brought out pumpkins too at that time too. They had the squash and the gourds and all of that, and it was just very classic autumn, which I love.
So the next one we shared together on my list is the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yes.
And we were very fortunate. I think we were, there's a peak time and then there's a peak time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And I think we were there the peak days of the whole month.
We were.
You could just literally, anywhere you could park your car and just look outside. You didn't have to go to a specific viewpoint or anything like that. The whole area was just so beautiful.
It was spectacular. Yeah, we definitely lucked out on that one, man. We had some beautiful colors to see, and everybody else was out there too. It was very crowded.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that sounds like, oh, well, I don't want to do that if it was very crowded, but it was kind of beneficial to us because it forced everyone to drive slowly. You know, sometimes you'll be in these national parks on the road, and if it's just you and a person behind you, you feel pressure to speed up, maybe even go faster than what the speed limit is and whatever. Mm-hmm. But everybody had to drive about 20, 25 miles an hour. So it allowed you to really absorb how beautiful the area is.
Yeah.
And if you're not from the East Coast and you don't have an idea, the Blue Ridge Mountains are like about 490. The road is like 490 something miles from Shenandoah all the way down to the end. It's just a beautiful, gorgeous ride, and you never have to get off of it unless you're getting gas or something like that.
Yeah.
You can camp along the way. You don't have to worry about being on a highway. You can stay on that one road the entire time. So I highly recommend the Blue Ridge Mountains.
I double that. I definitely double that.
It's one of the few places that has that much density of population that I recommend overlanders driving around, because you won't feel like you're in a traffic jam or nothing like that.
I was really surprised that we were able to find camping along the Blue Ridge Parkway as easily as we did. just because it was so congested. I think a lot of the folks who were there were maybe locals, just out there, out and about. I'm not sure, but yeah, we were able to find camping along the way, and that surprised me. I thought there is no way we are going to find camping up here with all of this. There's no way, and we did. So, but for what, 2 or 3 nights we camped up there. It was really incredible.
I'm sure that the majority were people who lived in the area, but when you are there at a peak time, like we were lucky enough to get there, a lot of those people were visitors too. I've been doing the fall foliage for years now, and they have like sites. Certain states like Vermont, you can be on their newsletter and they give you updates and tell you the exact time or whatever. So I'm sure a lot of those people got those messages and zoomed there to take advantage, because that was a really, really peak time that we were there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And so next on my list, and I'm sure this is on a lot of people's list, is Aspen, Colorado.
Ooh, Aspen is beautiful. The golden aspens when the leaves all turn. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah.
The yellow leaves and the trunk is like white.
Yes.
Oh man.
So beautiful. I love fall.
when is Aspen not beautiful? This is another one of those places that, go for fall foliage, but whenever you go to Aspen, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why real estate's so expensive up there all the time.
I see a lot of people with very small, I wouldn't call it a farm, and I wouldn't call it a ranch, but they've got a little land and they've got a couple of horses. I see a lot of people with horses in the area. Is that a horse area?
I've seen, I have horses myself. I'm an equestrian. There are little ranchettes, miniature ranches and things like that.
Is that what they're called, ranchettes?
Some of them, some places call them, I'm probably in that classification because I don't have a huge place, it's only a couple of acres, but, I've got my horses out here too, but yeah, we usually call them, ranchettes, but, there are some places up there. Riding's really good up in that area. There's companies up there that you can actually do horseback tours through. I think that it would be a lot of fun to go on a tour up there in the Rocky Mountains on horseback. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, there are some horses up there. Sure.
I don't know anything about it. Those horse tours, are they like packed tours for days, or is it just like a 3 or 4 hour ride, or
you can do both?
Above? Okay.
Yeah, there's both. Yeah, you can go whenever. So there are tours that you can do where you're riding horses for like the weekend, and they have camp set up for you with a cook and things like that available. So you get there, you knock out, and after, you eat some great food that they've cooked for you and have that all prepared. So you don't really do much except ride and enjoy yourself. So I think that's
totally cool.
Right? It's a cool tour, right? Yeah.
I've done something like that. And you ever heard of Togedy, Wyoming?
No.
It's right outside of, Togedy. Yeah, no, Togedy, Wyoming. It's right outside of the Grand Tetons.
Okay.
Anyway, I went on a trip like that. That's all.
I would like to do a cattle drive because you can actually do cattle drives on a dude ranch in some of these places where you actually get out there and you participate in that. I think that would be a lot of fun to experience.
I've seen those, but the ones I've seen, they are so bougie. Now, I've seen some like down in Texas where you're like really a cowboy for the day.
Right.
But the other ones, you're just riding around on a horse all day with the cowboys.
Well, see, that's what I want to do.
4-star restaurant meal at night.
Yeah, see, that's what I want. I spend my mornings here at home mucking stalls and pitching hay, and I would like to just be on the other end of it where I just get to sit and look pretty on a horse.
All right, so the next one on my list I hold dear in my heart, and that's the Columbia River Gorge. And
oh yes,
didn't you just do the gorge?
Yeah, I did.
So
yeah,
what did you think of it?
In July. Oh, I've been before. It wasn't my first time to the gorge. It was the first time that I did the tunnel hike though, Tunnel Falls hike. That was 15 miles and you get to this huge waterfall. There's a series of, I think, 7 waterfalls total in this place. And it actually connects to the PCT as well. Once you get up around the corner to the lake. So we hiked to the waterfall, and right behind it there's a cave, and you hike through the cave on the side of this cliff. And if you have height issues, you're going to be moving pretty slow. But they have chains that are attached to the wall of the gorge, so that you have something to hold on to because it's so narrow. But it was beautiful.
So I researched this because you remember I thought I had been there, and then you gave me additional information, and then I was like, no, this couldn't be the same place. So I went on YouTube and looked and saw the route. Yeah. Imagine that during the fall. That
would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might have to do it again just to do it in the fall.
So I've never been on that part, but the whole River Gorge from beginning to end, and again, being in the Pacific Northwest, fall is a little later. So this is like late September all the way to the end of October when you want to come look at it. And even though you have the traditional fall colors, there's still a lot of green. You're never going to get rid of green in in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, there's a lot of evergreens up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Well, and they have some redwoods mixed in there too. So, I mean, it's like, it's not small green, it's big green. It's in your face green.
Now, and the Columbia River Gorge is another, it's amazing how we talk about how crowded it is and there's nowhere to go, and there's always lines wherever you want to go. But there's still a bunch of places in America that people don't have on their list. And this is one of them. People don't really come to the Pacific Northwest like they do other places. So there's still some, I wouldn't call them secrets. There are still places to go that aren't as dense and they're not as populated.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest is amazing. I really like it. And it's for me, I live in the desert full time. So whenever I do go to Pacific Northwest, I especially enjoy the waterfalls. There's so many. And I go and I hike all the waterfalls, and I enjoy all the waterfalls because it's big water too. I mean, they're not small, they're big. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the larger ones in the country actually are in the Pacific Northwest area. It's spectacular scenery.
And I'm pretty sure of this fact. You or our listeners correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Oregon has the most waterfalls of any state.
That is an excellent question that I do not have a specific answer to, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I want to get that straight now. What state has the most waterfalls? Oh, excuse me. I'm actually embarrassed. Washington has the most waterfalls than any other state.
All right. Well, there it is.
So Oregon here it is. Oregon is a close second. So 1 and 2 most waterfalls in the whole United States are in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
But when people come here, all they do is go to the coast. They drive the 101, they eat seafood, and they miss out on the whole rest of Oregon and the whole rest of Washington. So don't say to yourself, well, when I'm going to come there, it's not going to be fall foliage time. You can come here anytime and it's beautiful.
Something that a lot of people also don't know about the Pacific Northwest, particularly Oregon, is the further east you go, it becomes deserty.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Beautiful desert.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, but it is a desert. In fact, they have a lot of rock formations with a lot of great color, sandstone, things like that. It's really a lot of canyons as well, which is a surprise to me. Whenever I first visited that area, I thought, man, I had no idea this was here. You don't know until you go.
I am always telling people, whatever your favorite geography is, your favorite landscape or whatever, I can show you somewhere in Oregon and Washington something just like it. Like I can show you a road that's just as scenic and very similar to going to the sun right in Washington. You can take 20, which is the highest highway in Washington, and it's like once you get to the national park, it's like going to the Sun Road. Your favorite desert, like you were just talking about, I can show you deserts. We have one called Painted Desert. So if you want to see that rain, I mean not rain, the red sandstone and all of that stuff, we've got that. We've got rainforests. We've got a seashore. We've got lakes. We've got bays. I don't know what to say.
And there's a lot of wine to go along with that too. So you can do a whole wine tour through all of those regions because they're really well known even outside of Napa Valley and things like that. They do have really amazing wine regions too. So you can go and, visit all the wineries and do the tours and get great food. It's very underrated.
Yeah. St. Michelle Wines is right on the gorge. It's right on the gorge. Yeah. And that's a very popular, very quality wine.
Yes, it is. It's very good.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one on my list. We're staying in the area, and that is the Okanagan Wenatchee National Forest in Washington.
All right.
So this is going to be near Winthrop if you're looking for a city to correlate this with.
All right.
And you remember I was saying taking 20? This is at the end of 20.
Okay.
When you get to the end of that road, you get to this national forest, and it's huge. It's in the mountains, and I mean big mountains. You're near the Canadian border, the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route. Its last few legs are through these mountains to the Canadian border. Winthrop is a nice themed town. It's like an old cowboy town. They've got the wooden platform for you to walk down the streets on. The style of the buildings are like cowboyish. There's a famous restaurant that serves bear claws and pecan swirls. I highly recommend going into the Okanagan Wenatchee National Forest during the fall if you are in Washington. And the best time for this, again, you're in the Pacific Northwest, so late September, late October, depending upon first rain and snowfall and all of that, maybe even all the way into November.
So the Highway 20 has been on my list for quite a while. It's good to know that it's amazing in the fall. So I may have to tailor a trip during the autumn to check that out.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that tip.
Oh, yeah. And the Pacific Coast Trail goes through this forest. One of the most famous places where they like to stop and they meet up with, they'll have somebody following them in a vehicle. I forget what you call that. It's one of the places people like to stop. There's a little market that they go to get food. And then there's a camping area in the forest where it's famous where they stop. And sometimes people will just give you stuff that are camping there in a vehicle.
Oh, the trail angels.
Yes, that's the word, trail angels.
Yeah. Cool.
And you never know who you'll see in this because you'll have a homeless person all the way to a billionaire doing this trail. You don't know who's coming through this trail. My last one is the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. Another one that I never see on anybody's list, and another place nobody goes to. I have never gone to the Upper Peninsula and it was packed, ever.
Okay. I was there and there was construction. Maybe that's why it was packed. Maybe that's why
I've been there for construction.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that. Construction on the road, right?
Yeah. It was crazy.
So obviously the upper peninsula is right there with the Great Lakes. That's what the Great Lakes is separating us from Canada, but a lot of forest area.
Yes.
A lot of
that
forest.
surprised me.
It's almost all forest area, actually, with a few little towns sprinkled in. You can camp right on the lake shore. And you don't have to do anything spectacular. There's no free camping. You're going to have to go to a formal campground. It'll be a state or national campground. But when you see what you get, it's totally cool. You get your money's worth at where sometimes you don't at some campsites, but every campsite along the whole seashore, I recommend. So imagine you're on the beach and you can see the beautiful seashore, and then you turn around 180 degrees and it's nothing but orange and brown and beautiful fall foliage. So I highly recommend it. And there's only a couple of roads that actually go east-west completely across the peninsula.
Yes.
Each one of those routes is a beautiful, beautiful drive. It's just, do I want to stay close to the seashore, or do I want to be more in the center in the forest? It's your choice. But I highly recommend it for the fall foliage.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.